wasn't really a close third. I was pretty far back, so we have some work to do. But yeah, I would say the track was very, very speedway like, or I should say drag race like today. There was a lot of straightaways, and honestly, I was just horrible in the flat turns. Where there wasn't a rut, I was just not good. In the back section where there was ruts, I was okay, but when you have to turn off nothing, I was struggling. So improve on that, but these guys are riding good.
And I apologize for hanging onto the mic for another question, but Eli and Jet, this is the first time we've really had a chance to see you guys race. And from the outside, it looks like your styles are so comparable. Were you able to learn anything about the other rider when you were following behind them? Jet, those last couple of laps, and Eli, Eli, those last couple of laps, and Jet throughout that Moto2.
I mean, yeah, it was actually, I mean, maybe for these upcoming races, it was good to be behind him for a couple laps just to see. Like he mentioned, like just different flow, right? So we definitely had our pluses and minuses, and yeah, it is what it is, but it's good.
Yeah, I think also, like, a key thing I saw is that he had the paddle. So in the sand, if I could just stay as close as I can or even, I could maybe gain a little bit everywhere else where it was a bit harder pack side than knobby tire. I think a lot of people else had it too. So I was just trying to make sure if I can just be close and put pressure more on the slick spots, it would kind of help. But I mean, I got to race a little bit in Supercross last year, but I think everyone's riding style and outdoors is always different to Supercross. So I had a good 2 motos behind him, kind of learned some stuff. First one, not as much because he was gone, but the second one, at least, I got to watch him and kind of pick up on a few things.
Mitch Kendrick with Racer X. Let's go to Chase here. Obviously, last year you came in here, had the 1-1 and left with the points lead. You didn't have that good result today. It wasn't your day. Are you, I guess, this better version of yourself now? Are you okay with, like, thinking big picture? Are you frustrated? I guess, where are you at mentally with just still leading with the points?
I'm not okay with it. I don't like losing. But I think compared to what I did last year, if I can go the opposite way this year, that would be good. Last year I was good, and then I just got worse throughout the rest of the races. So this year, hopefully I can bounce back the next round, and then obviously the last one is really where everything's won at. So if I can just kind of improve and keep myself in it for the last round and try and work some bugs out, we'll be in a good spot.
And we know you've said the pro motocross bike is a lot different from Supercross bike. You're trying to figure out a mixture of the both. I guess, were you happy with your setup today? Was it on you? Just walk us through where you're at with that.
Yeah, no, we haven't quite figured it out yet. I thought we were good, but yeah, it's still a lot different. And then just a quick one for Eli. One SuperMotocross format race under your belt. You said you're having fun. Just give us your quick update on the format.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it's, anytime you win one of the races, it's easy to say you like it, but I like the high speed. Like coming back in the stadium kind of reminded me of the old Vegas Sam Boyd, so I had a lot of fun with it, and it just had a little bit of everything, right, with the sand, and, the one rhythm, and some good speed, so it's good for me.
Chase.
Eli, mate, I'm not sure if this is so much of a question, but I guess I just wanted to let you know, I guess, how much energy there was in the crowd for you tonight. Like, I was just sitting way up in the stands, and that first moto, like, people were just losing it. You can hear your bike. Like, when you were in front of Jet, you couldn't even hear Jet's bike. Like, you provide the fans with an experience, and just sitting in the back there tonight and hearing the way that people were cheering for you, like, I kind of wanted to pass on that perspective. And I guess on behalf of the fans, say thanks for coming back for these races. But can you feel the energy from the fans in this stage of your career?
Yeah, I do, and I think the more just riders stick around, the more they kind of grow up with you and kind of live with you through your career. So that's been really cool to have them along the way. And yeah, the last couple of years, man, the stadiums and the energy have been pretty awesome.
So Jet, in Phoenix, I believe it was, I feel like some of your comments about Eli and Beast Mode got taken out of context. I feel like I knew exactly what you mean, but I think maybe Eli, maybe even some of the fans and the media, they kind of didn't get where you were going with it. Tonight, you had Beast Mode, and he beat you in the first one. You were able to get the win in the second one, but like, to speak on that, you couldn't even hear your bike. Like, it's such a different riding style, and I could see after the sand section, were just getting filled in that moto. So your take on experiencing beast mode for the first real time tonight?
Yeah, back then I wasn't really good with my words. I still ain't now. So they took completely wrong. But no, it was cool. I mean, I was kind of dealing with my own stuff. Obviously, the first one, trying to get back in my flow, and obviously lost that time at the first part. But that second one, it was fun. I mean, we're going hard, and yeah, I mean, that Yamaha is really loud. So, and our bike's obviously quite opposite. It's very quiet. So even once I got around, I still couldn't hear my bike. But no, it was, I think, obviously a big thing with the engine and the air intake, where it's on compared to the Yamaha, it's a lot quieter than that. But no, it's cool to experience it, and I hope it stays around. Beast mode, it's always fun racing someone with such knowledge and speed obviously too.
Zach Newberry, Trans World Motocross, motocross.com. Eli, did you surprise yourself in that first moto, grabbing the whole shot and kind of checking out from the rest of the guys, or did you know coming in that, hey, if I grab this whole shot, put in my laps, I can actually get this done here?
From practice, no, because I felt really good in practice. So I knew and the practice laps for me were pretty easy, like the one sprint lap. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna be good for the moto. Like I wasn't like on the ragged edge or really hanging on or getting too tight or anything. So, as my mindset was like, you have to get the start. So as long as I knew, or if I could get myself in the position to be off the start, I felt like I could be in the mix today.
And with the thumb, everything okay? Even in that second moto, everything's good moving forward.
Yeah, it's gotten stronger. And at this point, I would say it's not much of a factor.
And one more for Jet. You said that it was always been a dream to obviously battle with the great Eli Tomac. So is that something you're looking forward to, obviously moving forward? And is that like what you dreamed of? It was kind of going down to the last lap right there to the checkered flag with Eli.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think it was obviously a really cool thing. So I think if in Eli's standpoint, I think it's like him wanting to race Ricky Carmichael or one of those guys. You want to race the best at the time, and you want to battle with them. And obviously right now Eli's probably the biggest name and has the most championships for sure right now in this class. So yeah, it was an awesome race. I mean, the one cool thing is with racing against another grade and a champion is there's no quit. There's always fighting until the checkered flag. So I think it's always cool. And yeah, it's definitely a bucket list kind of checked off. Whether if I won it or not, I think it's just getting to battle with him. I think it's just a really cool thing and an honor.
Scott Yarjo, Moto Now blog. Jet, it seems like the first 1 to 2 laps, you're a little hesitant. The pace is maybe a little bit off the guys in front of you. The consequence is that, say, in the first moto, Hunter was able to pass you, and in the second moto, Chase was able to get right on you. Is that intentional? Like, are you waiting for the race to come to you and to figure out your lines?
Yeah, I like getting past the first few laps. No, I'm trying to go for sure. It's just, like I said, it's my first race back, It's a different angle for me, and Norma already kind of ran in. I haven't had any time off in the past where it's it's a learning stage for me. And yeah, there's this first few laps. I just got to get that race pace back in me and kind of get used to sparking straight away. It's been a while. So it's just kind of learning that.
And second question, everyone's talked a lot about the thumb injury, but before the thumb injury, you were dealing with consequences of your crash in Hangtown and your shoulder was sore. Did you get that all figured out? Is your body feeling totally recovered from the Hangtown crash?
Yeah, no, obviously my shoulder was bugging me quite a lot in the outdoor season, and surprisingly, just needed to rest, and we didn't really do too much. We did some therapy on it, and obviously after a week or two, it ended up being fine again. And thumb good.
Brent Bowser.
Yeah, Brent Bowser, Whiskey Throttle Media. My question's for Chase. Chase, you had the bike set up really good for outdoors. You looked comfortable. You can kind of do what you wanted. The track was more outdoorsy than Supercross, but then you did have some Supercross rhythms in there. Is it just a stability thing with the jumps and the different setup that you have to have on this type of track than outdoors? Because outdoors, your bike looked really good.
Yeah, I mean, you really had to run out our Supercross suspension today just with how that rhythm section was and how tight and steep it was. So you couldn't really get away with an outdoor setup. But yeah, it's like I said, we have work to do with the SX setup and getting more comfortable. But Yeah, most of the track was pretty outdoorsy. It was just that Supercross section and some of the fast parts where you were hitting some pretty big G-outs. You had to have enough hold up. But yeah, I'll go back to the drawing board, try and work with the team, and come out stronger because I got to get better.
Nick Still.
Yeah, thank you. Nick Still, MudOnline.com. This will be for the three of you. You know, the second year now we've been able to see this structure throughout the year of how long this goes. Personally, between the three of you, what's your thoughts on a season going this far, this many races throughout the year? And it's like, you know, you've got 2 more back-to-back weeks. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, at this point, it's like you just have so many. And but I've had the last 2 summers off, unfortunately, so I don't know. I mean, either way, it's a long season, but maybe there's not much difference between 29 and whatever 32 races. So what's nice though is we get that paycheck at the end, get something for it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar to what Eli said. You know, I think the 31 rounds is kind of stupid. It's nice obviously when you have an injury you can kind of come back, but I think if you look at any other top sport, they're not doing this many races. I think, yeah, the only reason we all come back is obviously that paycheck at the end of the day for the bonus. So I think if it wasn't for that, a lot of guys wouldn't show up. But it's yeah, I hope in the future we have less because I think it makes it more rare. You don't see no F1 or MotoGP doing 36 rounds. So I think hopefully in the future we can just have less, so it makes it more of a rare thing and more on a special occasion, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think racing 31 races in a year is way too much. They took one pro motocross away just to add 3 more SMX, just to kind of I don't know. I mean, they put a paycheck at the end of it, but they don't have to go through the grueling training days. We have a whole off season, then during the week we have to ride to just be good on the weekend. So it's a lot, and you don't really. I mean, I think there was 4 guys that raced every race this year, which is stupid for how many guys show up every weekend. So hopefully MX Sports and Feld sees that and they change something. It's a little bit dumb.
They used my maths. -1 + 3 don't work.
Can I actually ask a follow-up on that while we're on that topic? So it's 31 races, but the economics of it, just to play the Feld and MX Sports side, is that the huge TV money that came in, I think it was like $7 million or something, was basically like predicated on 31 rounds. And it's something that we've spoken about a bunch of times on the podcast, just trying to brainstorm like ways where it's like, okay, we need to do 31 races to have a season with playoffs. Have you thought about what you could do? Like even the other day we were just spitballing ideas of like, maybe you just get 4 rounds throughout the entire year where it's like you drop your worst races. So you get an injury, you have something go wrong, you can take a race off, and you've got 4 of those in your sleeve for the entire season. Like, is there anything creative that you guys have thought about that we could implement? Because I just think the benefits of the 31 races like really are there in terms of like the sport big picture.
Yes and no. I think that the biggest thing you got to look, so Chase has done every single round, and now we're going to a high-speed track where they obviously want to look after our safety very well, and they do, but we're trying to set up a bike that's supposed to handle enough G-force to get to the rhythm lanes, but then it's got to be soft enough for the fast sections, and it can create a lot of sketchy moments of stuff being too stiff or on side nod feeling and stuff like that, and we're at the end of our season, so for stuff, people like me, Eli, guys who've had injuries, it's not too bad because we've had that break, we've had time off where Chase has still done every single round, so he's obviously, I think anyone would be tired after doing already how many rounds, you know, so I think it's, if we mainly just cut the rounds down, I think it would make it a lot safer for other riders too, because then at least for these last ones where you need the energy, you'll have that because you're not going through how many other rounds before. I think like even Supercross, I think the 17 rounds there, it's great and always been like that, but we don't need 17 rounds, you know. It makes it, I think, especially once you get to a point where someone's just already won so many times where it's got such a point slate, it's like useless, you know, where if they cut it to 15, 14, it makes it a lot more exciting because everything's close, you know. You have to do things now, like the 250s are exciting because you have to execute every round, where in 450s you can have a bad race and still have a chance to win it, you know. So I think hopefully in the future they might cut races, a lot more races off, just so it makes it more exciting for athletes too, and they might stick around more, because they're not just kind of wear and tear out their body throughout the whole year, then have such a short off season, and then trying to get going again. The MXGP guys have a very long off season, so they get to recoup, and they're going through and doing, I think, 22 rounds. I think it is, something like that. I can't remember, 19. So yeah, I think it's more so just for us riders as safety, because we're trying to push the edge, because we're not going to back down, but at some point it's obviously still dangerous for us. We want to try and do this for a long time, and yeah, because we love it.
Jamie Guida.
Do the other boys want to respond to that? Do you guys have anything on that?
I'll respond. Yeah, for me, I think like he said, it's tough to really put a lot. And after you put so much emphasis on Supercross and motocross combined, it's hard to rebuild that for these 3 races. So I don't know. It's just tough. I think at the end of the day, it's going to take the top however many 7, 8, 9 riders to come together and to say we're not racing this much. But yeah, at the end of the day, you want the sport to grow. So I see both sides. But as a racer, you don't want to see guys getting injured that you want to race. You want them to be there the whole season. And yeah, it's cool that everyone comes back for these last 3 races. But at the end of the day, like, you want them to be there for both the primary just seasons in general. So yeah, I think there needs to be less races, but we got to have a voice a little bit too. At the end of the day, they kind of control what the narrative is, and we don't really get much say.
I mean, it's hard to say what the magic number is, right? It's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, those, when you year after year after year, like the accumulation, like that becomes the problem, right? Is how many years can you really go? So I don't know. Don't have an answer for you.
And I appreciate, like, to your point, the narrative, like, this is the chance that you guys get to control the narrative on your end, So I appreciate you guys taking the time to answer.
Awesome. Let's go to Jamie Guida. This will be the last question. Jamie?
Yeah, Jamie Guida, VitalMX. Eli, with you being there's been a lot of talk over the last couple of years about the scoop. I want you to break down the technical positives and negatives, advantages for that tire.
I mean, for me, the scoop is really good on the start. So, I mean, that's critical in these events, right? And then that's my mindset, man. Get out there, try to get that start, and let the rest of the race come to you. So, and for us, it just works good on our motorcycle right now.
Well, there seems to be a lot of myth that there's no side bite on that thing. Would you agree with that? You just have to be careful, or does it have more side bite than maybe the general public think?
It's hard to say. Like, they're definitely different on every bike, and yeah, for us it works.
Okay, thanks, man.
Well, I can speak for, I think, all of us here and the fans that we understand. We can't relate, but we know how hard y'all work, and as fans, we absolutely love it, and we appreciate all your hard work and sacrifice. So another round for our amazing racers out here who put it all in for us today. Thank you. We'll get 250 podium up here next. He's got to be stoked, man. Hey, those guys that I said not to show up. What's up, man? Let's get started with the 250 portion of this press conference. We have the podium up here. Hayden Deegan in first place. Julian Beaumare in second. Levi Kitchen in third. Big round of applause for our 250 podium. Hayden, this in some ways you made it look easy. In other ways it was hard. You sat on the podium. You had a horrible start. Your words, not mine. Just take us through what it took and how deep you had to dig to go 1-1 after starting, in your words, so horribly.
Yeah, it was not great starts. And I mean, for how good I did today, I actually felt kind of off. But anyways, I mean, it worked, so that's all that matters. But we're definitely going to go back this week and go back to the drawing board, watch tape, and figure out what I need to get better at.
All right, sounds good. Open it up.
All right, Hayden, this first one's for you. This big track, you riding the way that you do, some of the lines that you did today, banking off the curbs, what does this track do differently than a Supercross track or a motocross track? Because it's a hybrid of both, the bike setup's a little bit different. What does it allow you to do differently?
It's definitely, I feel like there's like technical lines that you can kind of find if you got some good racecraft. So I feel like that's what's cool about these Supermotocross. You're mixing in some things that we're not used to. So it's definitely cool. I mean, you got motocross and Supercross, and you're on Supercross suspension. So it's tricky out there, but it's cool.
With the starts that you had, especially when they did the red flag restart, that was a huge saving grace for you at that point. But then the people that you were behind, you get to see other people's racecraft and then figure out, oh, I can do this differently. Is that pretty much what's going on when you have to come through the pack and find places to pass? Because everybody said you really couldn't pass here. You proved you could.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's definitely, when you start in the back, you kind of see lines where you can make up time. But I feel like, today I was doing lines that no one else was even doing, so I don't think it really mattered in the first place. But definitely some fat lines out there. And, I mean, in the sand I felt really good too. So that's things like people could have picked up on easy, but I just sent it through there.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. And while we're talking about racecraft, for Julian, do you feel like you learned maybe a little bit more riding up front than you do when you're riding mid-pack or a little bit further back?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, being up front with those guys, you learn a lot. And when Hayden passed me, yeah, for sure, he had some amazing lines that I had to pick up on. So just being up there with those guys and seeing where they're going, where I'm slower at, is definitely a big thing to learn.
Mitch Kendrick, Racer X, will stay with you, Juju. Obviously, first career podium and everything. We know you're kind of more natural, I guess, as Supercross. Is this just that Supercross feeling, or did you guys nail the bike setup? I guess, how did you get so comfortable on this format that you've never even raced in before?
I think just the last 3 weeks, I had really good weeks at the test track, and I feel like I've been riding really good at home all season, just never executed on Saturday. And today I felt good. I felt back at home, and I felt like I've been gaining confidence from my riding back home. So just getting 2 good starts like I did today and executing the plan how we wanted.
And then for all three of you guys, the split starts are something we're seeing a little bit more often, but usually in Supercross you'll have the same turn. Here today we had a right-hand turn, a left-hand turn. I guess walk us through your approach to either a right-hand turn or a left-hand turn, and just, I guess, why you chose which side.
Yeah, it's a little difficult, honestly. I mean, I think during the speedways they're gonna run into that every here and there because you got to go over the barriers. So I think starts are gonna be like that quite a bit throughout these years of this series. But I mean, you gotta figure it out. I mean, it's kind of cool though. You come around the first turn and you get your hopes up because you're in like 4th, and then you like come into the next turn I'm in 8th. So I'm like, damn. But it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with him. Obviously, split stars, we're going to see a lot of it with racing in these speedway type tracks. So I think it's interesting. Obviously, you never know where you're going to be. One side could be faster than the other. So it's definitely a guessing game going into Moto 1.
Definitely what they said.
Andrea Ruggiero, Moto Now blog. Julian, did you know that the battle to hold off Joe was for the podium position, and did that affect the way that you rode?
I knew that Joe had gotten 3rd in Moto 1, so obviously I didn't want to let him by. I didn't know what the extent of it was. But no, I seen him get close to me, and I had to hammer down those last, I'd say, 5 corners.
Zach Newberry, Transworld Motocross, motocross.com. This question's for Levi Kitchen. In that second moto, obviously you had to lead going into the rhythm section all the way in the very back going towards that motocross section. You had a little bit of lead on Hayden by the time he got up into second place. Was there something that happened back there? Did you make a mistake or anything like that for him to get you coming out of that section?
Are you talking the rhythm?
Yeah.
Like I was going, he was doing the quad, and I was going over table, and then 3, and I missed it. So I screwed it up pretty bad, and yeah, you could lose a lot of time if you messed it up. So he probably closed, I don't know, 2nd or so.
And how did you feel on your bike today with this hybrid track?
Yeah, I mean, I felt okay. Bummer for me, like after the restart, I ripped a good start, and then your emotions, you get excited. So that was kind of a kick in the nuts, but I don't know, the bike felt pretty good. The track was really fast, which is something I need to get a little bit better at for sure, but
overall, yeah, I like where my bike's at. I mean, I think we're all on Supercross stuff for the most part, so it was a fun day.
Is it cool if I get one more? Juju, do you want to talk about the bet that you and Carlos had today to help you out? If not, that's cool.
Yeah. We had a bet that if I didn't podium Moto 1, he took my phone away in between motos, and then if I didn't podium, I think it was overall, he took my phone away for all the way till next week, and then going all the way through the race next week. So, yeah, definitely didn't want that to happen. So,
If you did podium, was there any upside for you other than being up here and the money?
yeah, no upside.
No
No
upside.
upside. Yeah, it was only a downfall.
Okay, got it. Well, you got the upside on this one. Jace?
Hayden, mate, you never really seem to address any of your criticism directly, but you always seem like you ride with so much attitude that like you're almost sending a message, whether it's to like other riders or to media or to fans or non-fans. Do you feel like with the whole Motocross of Nations drama that has gone on these last like couple of weeks that today is like a bit of a statement ride in a sense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everything fuels me. Anything. You could say one word and that fuels me to work harder. That's just how I work. And, I mean, dude, even RJ or whatever, he was, like, behind me in qualifying, yelling at me. I'm like, dude, don't do that. Like, that's not smart. And, I mean, it obviously didn't work for him, so that clearly wasn't smart. But, I mean, I get fueled by anything. Any crap talk, if you guys want to say something to me, say it, because it's going to make me better.
And a little follow-up on that, though. So there's that side of you, but then it looked like when Juju crossed the line, you looked genuinely stoked for him. And there's been other times where like guys have had really good rides that have beaten you, and then you're actually like this nice guy. So you play both sides of the fence. But were you actually happy when you saw Juju? Because that's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah, I'm always hyped for them. I mean, to get on the podium or, I mean, for your first time too and stuff like that, it's definitely cool, but then once you start becoming a threat, that's when I kind of turn sides. I mean, as you guys see. So, but he was riding good, so I had to give him props.
And Levi, just a quick one for you, mate. It's not really this weekend related, but you're pretty clearly like the number one dude at PC in terms of the results that you've been putting in all year. Obviously at Star, so many dudes kind of at times potentially get lost in what's going on there. Is the vibe different? Like, I mean, the last few weeks, I mean, the last month, you've just been riding incredible at times. So is there anything to, like, just the environment change and, I guess, being in a bit of a different position over there?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, even at Star, though, it was pretty, like, I mean, you always have somebody that's going to be good on a day and maybe not so good on the other. So, but yeah, I mean, the whole year, like, the team's been great to me. And I think after I kind of did pretty well in Supercross, like now they kind of step back and they try to just kind of let me do what has worked. So I think that's really helpful. When I have too many people in my ear, like as any of us know, it can kind of go the other way sometimes. So yeah, they just kind of let me do my thing.
Jamie Guida.
Jamie Guida, Vital MX. Levi, I want to go back to you. Better results, obviously, in Moto 2. Did you make any significant changes? I know you guys aren't always sure what the setup needs to be for these tracks as the track change. Did you make big changes before Moto 2?
No, actually, I kept the bike the same and everything. And the only change I made was started away from, the red bikes and all the other ones so that I could just try to, come out good. The first one, I chose the very inside gate of that right side, and it worked the first start, and then when they restarted, I got pinched off. So tried to give myself some room there, and, yeah, that was the only thing I did different.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Alex Gobert.
Yeah, thanks, Alex Gobert, MotoOnline.com. For Julian, congratulations on the first podium. You've had a mix of good results this year throughout Supercross and Pro Motocross, but for you to deliver in SMX, I just wanted to, I guess, get your opinion on, where did the experience really come into play on a day like today? Was it the Supercross, was it the Motocross, or just a combination of both?
I wouldn't say it came from Supercross or Motocross. I think it was just a matter of showing up on Saturday. I hadn't showed up on Saturday all year, and just was able to believe in myself today and believe in what I do during the week. So just being confident in myself and confident in the work we do.
Thank you.
Nick Still.
Yeah, thank you, Nick Still, motoronline.com. This will be for Hayden. Hayden, your racecraft is a pretty big contributing factor of your success here today. Can you just talk about that? And it looks like you have fun piecing these SMX tracks together and genuinely enjoy it. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, definitely. I enjoy these tracks a lot. It's just like, it's like a fun Supercross track. It's like, I don't know, it's like you build what I kind of rode when I was younger and my dad and built these tamed down Supercross tracks. It's kind of like that. So it's cool. You get the ruts and the rhythms. So it's definitely, you got to use every variable of your skill level to ride these tracks. So I enjoy it.
Brent Bowser.
Yeah, Brent Bowser, Whiskey, Throttle Media. My question is for all three of you guys. Last year at ZMAX Dragway, the track was really fast, but had that over-under split lane. This year, it looked like the track's layout was a lot better for racing and just looked overall more fun, as a fan at least. What are your guys' thoughts on the track this year versus last year? Was it better? Was it better for passing and racing, or do you like last year's track better?
I didn't ride last year's track, so no comment for me.
Yeah, the track was solid. It was actually better for the race. I'd say qualifying, it was it didn't flow as good, and then come around race time, I feel like the track for me pieced together better. So I mean, I don't know. This year was pretty fun, so I'm gonna go with this year. The track was probably a little better.
I think they were pretty equal for sure, but last year the split lane, like, I think that's pretty cool because you go in kind of guessing, like, I don't know, you saw that. I mean, last year that was like the only place there was really passing, so you know, I don't think they should shy away from those. I think that was pretty cool, but yeah, overall the track was pretty decent.
Mitch again from Racer X. Hayden and Juju, you guys are closer in age, as in like the new, I guess, fresh meat coming into the class. Did you guys have any rivals growing up? I know you're both kind of spent a lot of time in California. Did you guys have any battles growing up? Did you guys see each other at the amateur track a lot? Can you just talk about, I guess, if you raced each other growing up as amateurs?
I mean, we kind of did a little bit. Juju really I feel like he got his speed a little later down the road, like 85s and stuff. And then 250s when he kind of really got his speed. Like Futures, that's when I seen him like ride fast. So, but I mean, that was kind of the only time we've raced was Futures, like head to head, and now that's it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll say the same. He smoked me when we were younger, so it's nice to be up here with him. And goal is to get better and start fighting for wins with him.
Scott Yarja, Motornow blog. Hayden, despite the 1-1, you mentioned that there's things that you didn't like about your riding. Specifically, what do you want to improve on?
Yeah, I just didn't execute everything I was supposed to, and that's kind of why. I mean, I won, but like I didn't really want to win in the fashion I'd like to. So there's just things I'll go back and I'll get better at.
So like little mistakes here and there?
Yeah, I'm not going to say them exactly, but they're just, little mistakes on the track. Obviously, I mean, the clear one is to start, so just things I'm going to go back and work on.
Final question, Jason Wygant.
Yeah, Jason from Racer X. Hayden, we see you ride really hard, but it very rarely leads to, maybe there's tip overs, but nothing big. There were 2 times when you were jumping that big rhythm where it looked like it was getting dicey. Do you even get worried in those situations, or is it something on the outside that looks wild and you don't even almost notice that it happened?
No, I didn't really feel it sketchy all day, but I knew, like, if I could hit this rhythm, I don't think anyone else is going to hit it in my class, because I literally had to flick the bike in the transition to get the speed to quad it, so I knew that'd be a big advantage if I could clear that, and it was today. It was a good passing spot, so, but I didn't really feel sketchy through it.
Yep. And I just want to ask, Julian, does the first moto lead to the second moto when you finally just get that race under your belt? You followed it up. Is that a coincidence, or that confidence carries forward just like that?
Yeah, for sure. I think the confidence carries forward, and I had 2 good starts in Moto 1 and then backed it up in Moto 2. So Moto 2, I made a little too many mistakes, but other than that, just having that confidence for Moto 1 definitely helped.
And we had a report from Will Christian on TV. Is there another World Championship, by the way, that you're getting yourself qualified for this year also?
Yeah, plan is to race the Jet Ski World Finals in October, and I raced last weekend in Texas for a qualifier.
And you had to qualify? Like, you're still sharp enough to earn your way in?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really, have to. I just had to show up, but I won on Saturday. I got second on Sunday, so it was all right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Pick a sport. He can do it. That's it. Excellent. Well, hey, great question and good luck in that, bud. We have one more interview coming up, but one more round of applause for our amazing 250 podium. Congratulations, gentlemen. All right, we're going to go to the 65cc All-Star winner. And we're going to get a quick interview, so stick around. We'll get some questions with that. There was a jumping violation penalty for the first place finisher of 2 positions. So the new winner after the penalty is Chase Brennan, the number 3. Big round of applause for Chase Brennan out here. Chase, solid run, incredible. I want to ask you right off the bat, how does it feel to win on this stage in front of all these people on this track?
It's a dream come true to me.
Yeah? Team happy?
Yeah.
Parents happy?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's happy?
Yeah.
And you're happy?
Yeah.
All right, that's the goal. Cool. Let's go to Jason.
You guys come from all over the country, but do you kind of know who you're racing with? Is this actually familiar, the riders that you're battling with today in some of the other big races?
Yeah, I thought Jaden would be up there battling with me, but he battled me in the first, second lap, but he kind of faded, but I battled him basically the whole year, but I won Mammoth. Close. I went 2-2-1 at Loretta's, but finally got it done.
Have you raced Carter Gray much?
Yeah, I've raced him this whole year too, and last year in the 10-11.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. Like, I think most people would think you guys are all new to this, but you're really racing a lot of the same people. Is it almost comforting that you're doing something totally crazy and new, but at least you're doing it with other kids you know?
Yeah, I know how they like their riding style and how they ride, so I think it's a big confidence boost.
Mitch Kendra with Racer X. What was your biggest thing you worked on since Loretta's?
Probably getting the rhythms down, like smooth, not casing it, and yeah.
And do you have any experience on this kind of track, something like this, or you just ride motocross until really prepping for this race?
No, I just rode like Supercross for 2-3 days before and came out here trying to win.
Scott Yarjmo now blog. The big finish line that your competitor was jumping, did you know that you were not allowed to jump it?
Yeah, he told us, one of the guys over there told us to not jump it, but yeah. And
the other big double that you all were doing, is that something that you talk about with your team, your parents, etc.? Like, is that something you decide mutually that you want to jump?
Not really. I got it over with this morning because I think my bike blew up yesterday, so got parts from this one guy next to me and helped me. So I kind of just came into qualifying today with no practice and went 5th, and then the second qualifying got 1st overall. So I came in with first gate pick.
Just tell us where you're from and where you do your riding, and like how much riding do you get to do during a normal week and things like that.
My name's Chase Brennan, and I get like probably 3-4 days of riding because I'm homeschooled now this past year. So yeah. Oh, from Winchester, California.
Alex Gobert.
Hey, Alex Gobert, MotoOnline.com. Can you just try to describe what it's like to ride a 65 around an SMX racetrack at the playoffs?
It's the crowd goes crazy when Gray hit it. I knew if he was going to hit it or anyone hit it, the crowd was going to go crazy, and they did, but they told us to not hit it, so I didn't hit it. But the crowd was going crazy when we went over the finish line.
Mitch again from Racer X. Which pro rider do you look up to the most that was racing today?
Probably Deegan or Sexton.
And I was going to say, did you have the red, white, and blue gear?
Yeah.
Can you just talk about that gear? Was it Plessinger inspired at all, or just walk us through that gear?
Probably AOT because he's dealing with cancer right now, and he might die, so we're doing it for him.
That's amazing, man. That's heart and soul right there. Justin Schuler.
Yeah, thanks. Chase, just kind of talk about this swing of emotions for you when you finish second, and then you find out Carter gets penalized, and you find out you win. Did you know that he was going to get penalized, or think he was going to get penalized? Like, what was your mind when you crossed that line second, but then found out when you got to the pits that you ended up winning?
Before that, I was thinking of hitting it because they groomed it, but I remembered in the back of my head that they said no hitting it, so I listened and are smart to me. And yeah.
You have one more?
Is this mom here? Is that mom?
Yeah.
Can you describe the emotions, your parents, when you win something big like this? What was their reaction like?
My mom was freaking out, and my mom was also my dad was telling me, because they told the parents too that I won because he jumped the finish line, and that was probably a DQ then.
Was Dad freaking out, or is he actually pretty cool?
He was cool.
Okay. Mom freaked out. Dad was chill.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty normal, Mom says. You're not telling lies. She's right here. She verified.
All right, last question, Andrea.
Andrea Ruggiero, Motor Now Blog. Do you deal with any nerves when you're on the starting gate? And obviously, like, this is a very different type of venue with so many people. Was that intensifying any nerves for you, and how do you deal with them?
This is probably one of the nervous besides the Redas, because that's where everyone comes. But I think this one is equal from, like, well, the emotion is crazy because I get so nervous in between the races.
Hey, you're wearing a Suzuki shirt and hat. Is that a deal coming up for you?
I'm on Arm Army now, so shout out to Arm Army. And yeah, I'm riding Suzuki for probably 2 years now. Oh yeah, 85 RM.
Yeah, that's amazing. Chase has signed a contract with RM Army. We'll ride Suzuki's moving forward. Big round of applause. Chase Brennan pulling it off. Big day for him. Nicely done, bud. Excellent. All right, before we go, don't forget, next Saturday from Texas Motor Speedway, same schedule as this week on Peacock, 9:30 a.m., race day live, 2:30 p.m. pre-show, 3 p.m. gate drop, and don't forget to watch the post-race show, SMX Insider, same day delay on USA Network at 6 p.m. Tickets still available at supermotocross.com. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate you being here. We'll see you in Texas next week.